most valuable lessons in life cannot be taught. They have to be experienced. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Some of the episodes in our life keep teaching us something new, something exciting, something which we need to learn to continue our journey forward in life. One such episode in my life was my trip to Dandeli. In the third year of my college, we had planned a trip to Dandeli from the IEEE club, which I was part of, in order to try the famous whitewater rafting along River Kali. All excited, we left our college early in the morning by train to Karwar, where we had a rather long stop for lunch. And then we reached Dandeli in the evening by the tempo we had booked. The plan was to try some simple water activities that day, like kayaking and river walking, and have the water rafting the next day. But all our excitement was flushed down the drain when we got to know that we were late just by a few minutes for the day's activities. While planning, we hadn't considered the obvious fact that Dandeli, being a forest area, would get closed early. And that was the very first lesson what I learned during that trip. That we have to always plan and be prepared for everything. And we shouldn't be late, because if you snooze, you lose. Some of the best opportunities in life might just walk past us because we didn't show up on time. Just how we missed the water activities that day. With a heavy heart and accepting that we couldn't do much about it that day, we started walking around and exploring the area. Soon, a smiley ball in one of my seniors' camera caught my attention. I pulled my friend along and we started playing catch-catch. And we pulled another friend and soon we were playing monkey in the middle. And a few others joined and very soon the whole group was playing dodgeball. We might have missed the water activities that day, but I swear the evening was nevertheless fun. The important lesson that I learned there was, it's actually important to plan and prepare ahead. But it's also important to just go with the flow. Instead of cribbing about what we lost, we had to always make use of what we had. We have to learn to let go of the life that we planned in order to enjoy the life that is waiting us. Soon the sun set and the sky was filled with numerous stars. After having a brief walk in the night, we retired to our rooms. The next day, we got ready early and we left for the rafting session. The dry environment soon gave way to the glorious River Kali, who was flowing in all her lush. And then we were divided into 10 to 12 groups each and given an instructor. We put on our jackets and put on our helmets. I wanted to experience everything from the first row, called dips on sitting in the first row. The instructor came into the boat after we all settled down and gave us basic instructions like how to row forward, how to row backward, and he also said that when we approached a rapid for those who don't know is basically the rocky region where the river flows with all the gush, the core of whitewater rafting. When we approached, he would ask us to stop and get down. At that moment, we had to lock the paddle in one hand and hold the rope across the lifeboat in the other hand and just sit down. And then he would ask us to start rowing once we crossed the rapid. So we had a few mock drills so that he understood what he meant. And then ours was the first team to go towards the rapids. And he asked us to pose for the cameraman who was standing right next to it. And after giving a victory smile, he asked us to get down, and as instructed, we got down. And once the rapids were over, we rowed towards the side of the river for the other boats to join in. And while we were waiting there, we saw this man just floating across the rapids. We were awestruck because that is not what we see in movies, right? We started discussing about all the movies where we see the heroine drowning in the rivers and the hero just going and smashing his head across the rocks. And even we discussed one of the Kannada movie where this scene actually took place in the same Kali river. But then here was this guy just coolly floating across, all unharmed. We laughed about how illogical the movies were and also how stuck the person was. I mean, he just floating across the rapids while some of us were even scared to try rafting. And the rest of the rafting session was brilliant, something everyone has to experience for themselves in order to understand what I mean. The serene beauty of the Kali River was totally awesome. Soon we went back to our rooms, and then while we were packing, all my friends were laughing their heads off. Me, I just cannot take it when someone's laughing and I do not know what the reason is. So I ran across to them and asked what the reason was. And when one of my friends started explaining, I got to know that the stud guy who we saw there was actually not so stud. The real reason was that when his instructor asked them to get down when the rapids approached, he thought something was wrong with their boat and he just jumped off. And in the middle of all the laughter was where I learned my other lesson, which was that you have to know the whole picture in order to understand the truth. Just by seeing something, we cannot believe it blindly. Once we get to know the whole picture, our view might drastically change. Just how the person from being a super stud went down to something super stupid. I mean, who just jumps off the boat even if there's something wrong? Like all good things, even the wonderful trip and value-filled trip which we had came to an end. We were back to our college, but then I had returned as a slightly newer version of me, filled with new experiences and valuable lessons. It is such episodes that make me keep wanting to try new things, meeting new people and going to new places. Because in such episodes, it is that we learn the subtle lessons that life keeps trying to teach us every now and then. The most important thing is to keep our minds open, and because we never know what surprises life might have in store for us. Thank you.